Americans are taking crime fighting into their own hands as liberal DAs let criminals back on the street again and again. In New York, an MMA fighter taking down someone accused of attacking people on the sidewalks. And in California, boy, this one took the cake. An 80-year-old store owner shot a potential armed robber with a shotgun. Will we keep seeing more of this? Here with his thoughts is former D.C. homicide detective, Fox News contributor, and good friend Ted Williams. Ted, good to see you. You know, as much as we love to see citizens taking down the bad guys, it really isn't very helpful to see the destruction of law and order in this country, is it?
No, it isn't. And it's a sad commentary where we live in a system where we have law enforcement officers that should be doing this job, and because there are not enough law enforcement officers, we're having citizens to take crime into their own hand and try to protect themselves. You know, David, I reached out to many law enforcement officers for this segment, and one of those was in my hometown of Lake Charles, Louisiana, a sheriff by the name of Tony Mancuso. And he is of the position that it is very dangerous for citizens to have to do this kind of a situation, meaning taking crime and protecting themselves. And it's just a dangerous concoction out here.
Well, what's the combination?
What I think is needed, David.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. What I was about to say is I think we really are going to have to look at some of these DAs and get rid of them.
That's exactly where I was going, Ted. And it's not just the DAs. Of course, that's a big part of the problem. They just keep letting people out. These Soros-funded DAs all over the country, in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Milwaukee. I mean, it's the middle section of the country and both ends of the country and everything in the middle. You have these crazy prosecutors, but you also have these crazy bail laws where even if you have a prosecutor that wants to keep people in jail, they can't.
You're absolutely right, David. And this is the reason that citizens are frustrated. And this is the reason that I'm urging citizens to reach out. And if your lawmakers are not doing what they properly should be doing to protect you, then what you need to do is to vote them out.
Yes.
Get rid of them.
Yes.
But I'm deeply concerned and disturbed about citizens taking crime into their own hand. It's an unsafe situation.
Yeah, but just to put a fine point, by the way, on what's happening in streets, New York, of course, is a prime example, but it is happening all over the country. You had New York Post cover here, 10 criminals in New York had almost 500 crimes among them, and most of those 10, this is in 945 days, most of those 10 people are still out, despite having committed 485 crimes. It's ridiculous, but to your point, there are DAs that are getting the boot by the citizens. You had the San Francisco prosecutor out. In Florida, you had Governor DeSantis kick out this prosecutor who was not following the law. And that's the bottom line. These are prosecutors taking the law into their own hand. They're not following the law in locking up criminals.
They're really helping criminals. Criminals are sitting back. They're laughing at us. They are winning. They know that they're winning. And it's all because of these DAs being soft on crime and these lawmakers who are not doing their jobs. You're absolutely right, David. They need to go. We need people who are going to be in there to protect law-abiding citizens. Law-abiding citizens are frustrated in this country that they cannot walk around without being harmed by the criminal elements of this country.
The worst thing is that we went through this before in the late 80s and early 90s. We know how to get out of it. We did in New York. It was crime-ridden. It was a dirty place. We turned that city around, and now we're back to where we started. It's just a shame we have to go through this whole process again and again. And by the way, Governor Hochul in New York could fire our own radical DA, who was another Soros-funded DA, and she's not doing it. The guy who's trying to beat her in the governor's race says he would fire this prosecutor on the first day in office. So there is change coming. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Best of luck to you and your buddies in the police force. Appreciate it.